Hey everyone, Heather Ashamar here. I'm so grateful to introduce you to Dada. She was introduced to me through a mutual friend, River, and River was like, "You must meet." And of course, when we met, we were both so joyful to get to have the connection. So thank you so much for coming on the page and sharing with everyone. We're going to be talking today. Dada is going to be talking about the shadow of racism. She is half of the duo of Writers of the Storm, a group that I hear is blowing up in Austin, a musical group, and many other things. So please share all about yourself and your wisdom. And I'm going to disappear, but I'll be here monitoring comments. If anybody has questions, and we'll come back on at the end and answer questions.
Awesome.
As well.
Thank you, Heather Ash.
You're welcome.
Peace and love, everybody. Good to see y'all. I'm going to pivot because I like my pretty pink background. I want to be able to share this stream with folks also. So I may be doing that as I introduce myself. Let me begin. So my name is Dada, and that name came to me some time ago by a spirit. There's a lot about me. I'm an artist, I'm a producer, I'm a curator, and yes, I am a practitioner. I am a student of Queen Mother Dorothy Desir. I am the mother of many, many, many exquisite creative projects. I am also what I like to call myself, priestess of the party. I'm really grateful to interact with people via the heart space, first and foremost, because in this world, in this climate, one of the main things that are shut down is our heart spaces. I am so aware of the myriad of ways that we activate ourselves, rejuvenate ourselves, recalibrate ourselves. But getting to the core of a matter seems to still be a stumbling block. Before I go on, I want to first thank the Grand Architect, Great Divine, that has given us the space and the imagination that we all swim in. I am highly honored and grateful for all of the ancestors, beneficent, benevolent, and sovereign, that have given me way, given me exception. I'm grateful for all the forces that allow for us to be in power, in communion, in togetherness. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my husband, my friends. I'm grateful for myself as a conduit. I'm grateful for the all. I'm grateful for you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being receptacles. Thank you for being high vibrational conduits yourself. So today, I was called to speak on the shadow work of racism. Let me tell you first and foremost, I don't have singing bowls for you. I don't have any silk robes for you as far as this is concerned. I don't have a drum circle for you as far as this is concerned. I don't have any meditational recipes as far as this is concerned. This is a very real, rampant virus, and it dwells in the heart. It dwells in the heart of people all over the world, the heart of people all over the world. I don't have kumbaya songs for you. I'm not interested in them. And I pray that you also are not, because we've had kumbaya songs. Uku, as they say. Uku, kumbaya song. Yet the plague exists. What are we missing then? Some very real reflection, some very serious accounting, inventory must be taken. We're all familiar with shadow work. Most of us that are tuning in are familiar by the terminology of what we call shadow work. It takes some very real stillness, some very real reflection, and it might take some fire to transmute and reform that which is hidden, that which is raw, that which has not had the opportunity to have a creator gaze upon it. And as a creator, when we talk about racism, you as a creator are required to take out the element and review it. Many spiritual spaces that I've been in, I've sat in circles where we meditate and pray for peace. I've sat in circles where we meditate and pray for the children. We pray and meditate for the planet, the environment, the oceans. We meditate for the rise of the feminine. We meditate for a variety of equal opportunities and a variety of subject matter that require balance and equilibrium and communion. When we talk about the virus that is racism, people want to step aside. They want to deflect. They want to say, oh, no, no, no. We are all one. We don't need to talk about the illusion that is racism, which is a very clever comment. It's a clever comment. And our egos and our shadow spaces can be very cunning, very cunning. And so we can stand on a very pretty stone, standing in a pool of mud with no stability. And oftentimes that's how we're interfacing. Gorgeous stone, glistening, those stones, the beautiful crystals that got all the little flecks reflecting, and it's all iridescent, but it is standing in a pool of mud with no stability, no legitimate foundation. And therefore, our intention on the stone cannot actually present itself. Our energetic connection to the stone and its ability to actually transmute an energy does not take root and does not take effect. I'm not sure if you get what I'm saying. I hope that you do. It's crucial. Those of us who stand in the spiritual community and find ourselves in retreat, and we find ourselves in a rhythm, in a pattern. And that pattern we haven't actually broken out of. As much as we feel like it restores us, then the question always remains, why is this still so prevalent? Why is there no institutional grasp in this, in the industry, as it were, of the spiritual? Why? Because the genuine work required to build, to reform this future and the way that it looks and who is corralling and who gets to architect it is not being addressed, because the inventory, the time to sit to actually address ourselves in the dark is not being done around this particular construct called racism. Race is a farce. It's an absolute farce. We know that. But what is not a farce is all of the things that have been constructed based on our belief. We can say, oh, I don't believe in race. I don't do that. That's not real. I am in the all, and I need to know why do so many of the same constructs, spiritual constructs, retreats, they don't look like this. Why? I've seen so many elements of us moving into 5D and ascension, and I'm just like, why is it still not look representative of the population of the earth? Take stock, address it. No one is exempt from this, much like no one is exempt from the dealings of the planet. No one is exempt. The same studiousness, same consistency that we sit and we allow ourselves to expand and grow in an ethereal sense. It takes the same amount of recognition and time and development. It does take uncomfortable positions to be in. I still can't do certain things in yoga. I just can't do it. I've been trying for some time. But I know that because of the consistency, because of the time spent, there are parts of myself that are wide open and truly healed. I'm not using my intellect as a scapegoat. I'm not using shiny rocks to stand on, stones to stand on as a scapegoat. I'm not alleviating the energetic weight, the emotional weight of what is in my subconscious mind about it. And that's often what I see. The generalization of it to avoid the direct conversation with. Well, we all have done this to each other as human beings. You're absolutely right. But there's a specific poison that is given to different understandings and populations. You don't divert that by trying to generalize the conversation. Your own healing, personally. You have to look at the thing. You have to speak to the thing. You have to direct your energy, your mind, your intention to it in order for it to be truly transformed. And we know that. We know how uncomfortable it gets. We know how splintered our gaze upon it can become, and the kind of work required to restore it, to let it burst, let it break, to find the actual jewel encased. Racism is no different. It has burrowed in the back of many people's imagination. You cannot alleviate that with politity. You cannot alleviate it with generality. You cannot alleviate it with passive behavior. You about it or you're not. And if you're not, you're not, 'cause that helps too. If you're not ready to do the work, that's healthy to know. It's important to know. In anyone's healing journey, I'm not ready to go there yet, but speak it, say it, know it, own it. Be encouraged by that. Hiding will not, cannot, should not be the formula taken to restore our sense of self. I um I remember a story of a young girl when I was in college. She was a young white lady. First of all, I'll get back to that terminology. I'll get back to that terminology. And I remember her talking about my roommate. She was Cape Verdean. If you're not familiar with Cape Verde, it's off the coast of Africa, colonized by Portuguese hundreds of years ago. Um, and uh, and I was talking to her about my heritage. I'm Haitian, Haitian background. Haitians are very powerful people. If that comes up in conversation while we're here, I'll definitely give you some of that background if you're not familiar. Um, and she said, she's like, I really love how cultural you both are. You both have like these recipes and you both have these stories and you play music I've never heard of before. You guys have different languages that you speak, etc. And there was such a bonding there between her and my roommate and myself. There was no deflection. She was not in any way, shape, or form desiring to denounce the generalities, denounce the fact that we were different. And oftentimes I know people are like, oh, well, we're all different or we're all the same or even that can be kind of lazy. We've gotten very lazy in our language. It was about the vulnerability. It was about the vulnerability for her to take the moment to be like, huh, I I don't know anything about that. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know these languages existed. The language we were speaking was Creole, which was really spectacular, was real cute, was that I was speaking Creole and my roommate was speaking Creole, but even still, it was not the same language, right? She was speaking a Portuguese-based Creole, and I was speaking a French-based Creole. Um, but it was her vulnerability that ushered the connection, that allowed for that. She didn't put up a barrier. She didn't put up a defense. And even our remarking about how we're all the same can be a defense. Like I said before, real pretty, sounds real pretty. I request to even gaze and create a charitable lens towards the other. Real pretty. The challenge, the courage is to sit in yourself, by yourself, and review what you've actually allowed yourself to realize. What lengths have you gone to be fully responsible, not out of guilt? I don't do guilt. not out of sorrow for someone else, not even out of compassion for someone else. All of that can be very lazy. Out of your responsibility, out of your sovereignty, do not pity, because there's a side of pity that also demands that there's a lesser involved. Your responsibility. What does that even mean? Have you taken the time? Have you pulled out a pen and paper to write out what is actually my responsibility? Have you journaled it? Do you have a journal for race? Have that part of your imagination even been activated? Have you even thought about that? What have I not taken account into here? Who have I not been listening to? And why have I not been listening to myself about it? Why haven't I not been listening to the tension in my body when it is summoned in conversation? I'm getting hot. You see all the stuff. Now the juice is moving. Your sense of responsibility towards it, not pity, not charity, not a band-aid, not something that allows you to soothe the wound, but go in there, clean it, go get all the muck out, get the antiseptic required, the uncomfortable thing, the stitching. Not don't just put the aloe on it. That's not going to do it because it's a gash. Racism is a gash. It has gashed the planet. It should be a primary concern. And if you don't understand why, that's where you should start. Fire is required to replace fire, burning out the structure. But that burning is here first. That burning is here first. I do not confuse my words to think that I mean any structures, physical structure, if we're not willing to go in here and burn some things. And ask yourself, don't feel bad. If you do, why? Why? If you feel tension, why? If you feel like eluding it, why? Dismissing it, why? Feel like patching it up in some sort of nervous manner, why? Why is that there? Is the question. Why is that there? Why is that summoned when there's an eruption in society? That eruption existed because those questions aren't being dealt with. That's why that's there. It's erupting out there because it's erupting in here. It is not just erupting in people of color. That's a farce. You can read all the books you want. People keep hitting me up asking me for books, list of books. I don't have any books for you. I don't have any lists of books. They facilitate, yes. But the truth of the matter is sit and ask, why is it there? Why is my attention there? Why has my avoidance been there? Why haven't I asked any questions about this until it's propped up in front of a screen? Why am I uncomfortable to sit with someone alternate to my melanated capacity and ask? Now, I also know that there are a lot of folks who are like, well, I don't want to train people. That's true. And the first way that you don't train someone is you sit and you ask yourself, why? Why is my tension here? Because it's the tension, it's the discomfort within you that you're bringing to the conversation. It's the fear within you that you're bringing to the conversation that then exhausts people. It's no different than any other complex that gets developed in the psyche. It is not about shame. It is not about guilt. It is about the desire to do that internal work, just like you do for any other healing that you need. And if you think healing is not the operative word here, think again. I'm not talking about human harmony. I am talking about a program. I am talking about a construct that has been designed for you for eons. Sip all the tea you want. Burn all the incense you want. Do all the lotus positions you want. It's there. And it's part of your healing package. It is part of your healing package. And it is demonstrative of what you are, in fact, committed to in the healing of the planet. There are no singing bowls there. There's no lovely hemp pants. I love a nice little hemp skirt, I'll tell you. There's no fruit juice, maybe. No. There's heat. And there are questions. Deep questions. And it's dark. But that's where we need to be in order to transform. I came into this dimension in this particular presentation. I know myself in a vibrational quality. I know my vibrational quality. I know myself as a vibrational being. I know myself beyond this outfit. But I know that I came here because this outfit had something to teach me. Not just the functions of your body, but even the aesthetic of your body is there for your education. Learn something from it. And no, we may not end the evening holding hands in mantras. I'm telling you, nah, we not. We might end up with some booty music. You okay with that? That's kind of how I needed to end. But anyway, I told you I'm the priestess of the party. I understand the party on a very serious level because the party is the bastard of ceremony. We'll get into that another time. Ceremony may be required. Ceremony may be required. Not the cute stuff. And that should be okay. That should be okay. It is no one's responsibility to deal with your fear. It is no one's responsibility to deal with your tension. That's your work to do. That's your work to do. And this speaks to whoever this is resonating with. There's a very diminished sense of self that is attached to this virus. I'm not just talking about, I want to be very clear, I'm talking about ethereal ones, I'm talking about spiritual ones, spiritual disease, mental disease that have disfigured the lens in which we see the world, that are causing an arrhythmia in the planet. An arrhythmia of the heart. How will you design this moving forward? What are the actual building blocks necessary? Ask yourself, because the divine wants you to figure it out. The divine wants you to have that process for your own power, your own power. Yes, I'm gorgeous and melanated. I am. Can't tell me nothing whatsoever. I'm cute. I'm not worried about it. I understand myself on a vibrational level, and I've done this. As a melanated woman, I've done this. Why do I feel tension when I see someone who's less melanated to me? Why do I feel tension? Why do I feel angst in having a conversation about race, about this construct, this farce, this thing that we say is so not real that we shouldn't talk about it? But if it's that insignificant, then talk about it. If it's that lighthearted, then talk about it then. You don't have any tension talking about butter? Well, let's talk about butter. The same ease and fluidity that you have talking about butter, talk about it. Talk about race in the same manner. You've been trained to be tense because the tension creates the barrier between us. Back to my friend in college. It wasn't courage that got her to say that. It was just vulnerability. It was a sweet moment. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, wow. Thank you for that. Yes, people are angry. Let them be. Let them be. The planet is angry. Let her be. It is the vibrational quality that we are operating in that is informed. She's listening to us. You cannot fragment your vibrational quality around what encases you in your life. You can't have altered, taking the time to restructure, reformat your lens on the feminine. Restructure, reformat your understanding of your connectivity to the planet. Restructure and reformat your understanding of, the ecosystem or any kind of political structure. But the slice of time required to review what your own personal engagement and disruption is. I could care less how many yoga classes you've been to. I don't care. It doesn't mean this doesn't exist in you. I'm speaking directly to those of the folks who exist in the spiritual community, because we need you to do it. Who's going to be the example? Who's going to be the example? Use that access for that. Yoga's $1 billion industry. Why can't restructuring the lens, taking the time to reconfigure our input and our lens, taking stock and inventory, why is that not $1 billion industry? Why? What will you do about that? If you're not interested in that, have the courage to say so. It's good for the heart. But the politeties have to end at this point. The politeties have to end at this point. The pretty crystals ain't gonna cut it. The mandate is being ushered right now from source about this and many other harmful diseases running amok right now. Take stock and look at the news. How many things are being excavated right now? Race, healthcare, access, trafficking. All of these things are being upheavaled right now. Our planet is screaming. Yeah, we have to take a good, long, hard sit down and ask ourselves some very serious questions. Your own tension has got to be evaluated. Your own desire to divest, not just in political structures, not just financially divest. I don't mean just that, although that's another conversation. But truthfully, even that won't actually happen until you enter the heart space and sit with that shadow, that little gremlin that everyone wants to avoid. That is your work. And that is a charge, even just for this week, that you actually pick up and pick up a note card, a journal. If it's that important to you and your journal work is that important to you, it should be in your journal. It must be. It must be on your weekly agenda if it's that important to you. It must be. As I was taking time to raise the feminine within me, it was part of my weekly agenda. As I was taking time to help youth in my community, it was in my weekly agenda. It has to be a part of your agenda for your own sake. There's no more hiding anymore. These structures are falling. And you can say, oh, yeah, good, I don't have to deal with it. No, it will take out whoever's not dealing with it. It will run over whoever's not dealing, who has not allowed themselves to transmute and connect to the emerging force and structure that is coming. It is requesting you in the most exquisite exquisite, poetic manner in my food because it is pure love. It wants to cradle you in that work. It doesn't want to destroy you in that work. And believe you me, there are no people of color that want to destroy anybody. Because there's also been work being done on all points. No matter what people of color go, I'm telling you, they're not out here. They're not looking for revenge. They're looking for responsible beings, responsible parties to do this work with. People who want to be responsible and be honest and not just feel bad because it's childish. It's childish. And the reason that compartment is childish is because there has not been development. It is stunted. It is atrophied. Every component of ourselves is here for education, including the tone of your skin. Go in there and find that. That is my address for this evening. I want to thank again Heather Ash for having me. I think she's going to pop up on the screen in just a little bit. I finally cooled off. I finally cooled off. I want to thank you again for having me. I want to thank, I know I was hoping to repost this to post this while we were talking, but I didn't want to interrupt the download. But I'm grateful. I don't know if there are any questions or any comments or anything of that nature, or if you wanted to continue to dialogue. But thank you again for giving space for that direct communication.
Gratitude to you. It was so impeccably beautiful. Just thank you.
Appreciate you.
There's a couple shares I want to just share with you that were really. So Serena, you've been trained to be tense, that quote that you shared. That's definitely the work I need to do, unlearning the tension. Protective factors we've been taught. I've been angry at white folks and I'm still working on softening. It's been challenging for sure. Thank you for sharing with us, Dada.
Ashe, yeah. Oh, did you want to share another?
There is another, what a gorgeous message. I mean, there's lots like, yes. Lots of yes. From me, I'm over here going, yeah. Sister. Yeah. And to really hold what you said so eloquently and so crystal clearly, that piece of responsibility, that piece of sitting with the discomfort, writing, questioning, and that same amount of energy that we are so willing to put into our yoga practice, our meditation, our spiritual work, with the understanding this is going to take time.
Right. Absolutely.
Saying this is going to take time, beloveds.
Yes.
It's going to take dedication and discomfort and facing ourselves over and over again.
Yeah.
And doing it together.
Yeah, and doing it together.
Alone. Together.
Sit by yourself, maybe. But ultimately, we have to get out here and, share, like any other workshopping event, whatever. It's the same thing. But my particular focus is that there can be so much focus on what we need to do politically. There can be so much focus on language, equity, but there's a vibrational quality to it that really needs to be highlighted because it lives in the body. It's not just in the mind. It's not just in the construct that we walk around in. It lives inside it demands our cellular attention. And in order to undo that, we have to then laser ourselves back into our cellular space in order to reconstruct it and to feel it. Like, what does that happen? Why does that happen when this happens? Why is my heart racing when this happened? Why am I recoiling when this happens? What is that? What was I trained to do that? Is that actually something that is in my genetic code? What is it? What is it? Where is it coming from? Where is this being sourced out of? And also, like, I think that's what my friend really taught me a lot in that. It's just like there was such a jovial response also in that. It's like, I'm so happy this is happening. I'm so happy this is happening. I'm just so delighted that what is that? Like, she didn't know. She's like, what is that language? What is this thing that you all are sharing that I don't know about? What is this feeling that I'm getting about wanting to connect, but I'm realizing I can't? I can feel this is beautiful, but somehow I'm blocked from it, and I don't know why. And I don't know why. And that's where that little skirt, that little piece right there is so important. It can be jovial. And I really exist to want to shift the energetics around it, because that tends to be quite the blockade. That tends to be in and of itself quite the blockade, you know. My work in general, I really didn't speak much about myself, but let me kind of just got into it. Let me explain being priestess of the party. I'm priestess of the party. I'm priestess of the party. My husband and I and our partner, DJ Teresa Funk, started a dance party called Body Rock ATX. My husband and I have been initiated to a variety of modalities and structures, etc. And didn't really understand when we first started that how it was applicable in a space like a nightclub, right? So it's like, no, like many other people, your journey, you know, it starts in sanctuaries and it's in, it's in different studios or dojos or whatever, you know, done all of that. And they all were wonderful. But like how do you bring that out of because typically people who are seeking go to those spaces. How do you bring that to people who may not be seeking and may not know they're seeking? I may not know that the medicine that they need is right where they are. And how do you get them to activate that right where they are in a space that they're using to remove themselves from problems, to remove themselves from restriction, right? All of those things. So when I describe it as partying being the bastard child of ceremony, it looks like this. It's like, you know, you're trying to summon, like, you know, when people drink, they seem to have some superhuman idea of themselves, or they have, this is like they're sexier than normal, or things are more available than normal. And anyone who's been in ceremony understands that experience where things are just like greater than normal. Something within you is greater than normal. But within a particular setting, it's distorted. Within a particular intention, guide, and direction, it's given life, it's given attachment to something more magnificent. So then that particular application brought into those spaces is where we really do our best work. It's really where people come alive. So Body Rock ATX is the most intersectional dance party in Austin because of that medicinal quality of it. So people, are conservative. People are Black. People are white. People are brown. People are rich. People are poor. Some people might be dealing with substance abuse. Some people might be, just like really aloof and weird, or whatever the nightlife brings. But at the end of it, the sense of complete, like, but I mean like really different, like very different people. Like, part of my language, but hood niggas be there. Like, you understand? I'm talking about like different people. People are different. I'm talking about like the whitest of whitey white folks, you know what I mean, can be together without intellectual shackles, without the tension, without the restraint, because they're dealing in a different vibrational quality. It begins there. It really does. And even my hesitation to speak, to say, hood niggas is because that there's a like, I can't say that around white folks.
Spiritual white folks, even
worse. Spiritual white folks, even worse. But that's a space of pure, it's reverent to me. It's a place of endearment for me. And all of this hiding has to stop. All of this hiding has to stop. You know what I mean? All of this hiding has to stop. And that tension, that dissolve and those barriers, it's just, it's part of that work, but we have to be honest that it's there first. We just got to be honest that it's there first,
And that place of creating the space for people to take their armor down and just be with each other as humans, I feel then allows them to do the deeper work.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we had, it's a beautiful place to teach, So we'll have, we have folks on the dance floor, and we usually have a stage. And on the stage, we'll call people up to dance, or usually there's a group of people who are the regulars, whatever they get to say. And primarily, we hold that space for people of color, women of color, queer people of color in particular, we hold that space for. But there are certain folks who get to be on stage. Definitely, we let white folks here and there on stage if their spirit is correct.
Right.
If their vibrational quality is correct. Yes. And so sometimes, though, someone whose vibrational quality is not okay will make their way on stage, but it's necessary because of that energy, that space. That I can actually educate them in that moment, and they listen because they're like, I don't want to not be a part of this. I don't want to not feel this anymore because this feels great. So what did I do? Or what do I should not do? What is it? Tell me. Like, I'm okay. Tell me. Like, did I go overboard? Was I, centering myself too much? What did I do? And I'm here to listen. I'm okay with that because this feels better than any other experience in any other space and time that I've been in. And I've never known it before. It's not in the day-to-day world I walk in. It's a very sacred calling in this day and age, in this time, to be able to facilitate that for a higher vibrational reality the planet is moving into. Call it whatever you want. You want to send 5D. I don't know what it is. And it's okay. Call it whatever is right for you. I'm not denouncing any of that. But what I do know that there is an emergence. And it takes a legitimate facilitators and conduits of a vibrational capacity to hold that energy into existence. And so that's what my name means. My name is Dada. Ki meaning life force energy. Dada comes from the Dogon female archetype, which is the spider, and she's known to weave things into existence. And so, my name means weaving life forces into existence. I was born for this time. And I'm here for everybody. I love everybody. I love you enough to tell you the truth and hold you in that and be very delightful about it. But I'm going to tell you the truth. The delightful part is for me. I don't need tension in my body.
Right.
I don't need it in my body.
Yes.
So, but we can do the work and not be tense. Relax. That's why the party is necessary. Relax.
Okay, I want to elect you and your husband and your partner, the three of you, for president, or like the priestess party.
The priestess party.
It needs to happen now. Like, we can't wait for the election. We're doing this.
Party, I like that. You're the second person in the last couple of weeks that have elected my husband and I as president, actually.
I love it.
No, I definitely do. I'm glad we could have this conversation. I'm open to anyone who would like to, continue that dialogue. I think it's the most critical thing going. Plenty of things are happening politically. Plenty of things, there are lots of organizations, lots of nonprofits, lots of workshops to go to, but um, vibration is imperative. That unspoken unified language is imperative, even in race work. The eradication of race work. Let me be very clear. Not race work. We're not working on making more race. We're eradicating the complex, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I just shared Dada's website,
Yes.
Dada.live.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go get more information on what she's up to. And I know you and your husband are putting together a big, epic online stuff. So
Yeah.
if you have anything to share about that, or if they should go to your website to learn more later.
Yeah, we're actually launching the website for the conference. It's called The Society Today. We're launching it tomorrow.
What?
Yes.
What's the website? Can I share it with them now?
Yes, it's not live yet. We're making it live tomorrow, but feel free to share it and folks can tune in tomorrow. It's called thesociety.today.
Okay. And I'll share it tomorrow as well.
Yes, thank you. And so the conference is about refreshing the connection between the digital age and indigenous technology. It is about the application of humanity and earth sciences and earth people as we move into the digital age, and having the audacity, if technology, whomever's can say that, hold this up and say this is the future, then the audacity to say no, that the earth science is what is the future. Mm-hmm. Our complicit and our strength and our potent relationship to the earth is actually what's the future, not our removal from it, and not our intertwining with mechanics, but actually the earth is what's the future.
So good.
Yeah.
And do you have time for one more question?
I do.
Okay, so I'm going to share this question. So, as a woman of color, do you feel that white people are practicing cultural appropriation when we practice African rhythms or djembes and other African instruments? I'm in Austin and have taken lessons from a white woman who is taught by African teachers. I have friends who are totally against it. I don't want to do anything that's not helpful to what you're talking about.
So part of the reason why we're creating our conference is because quite often a lot of the teachers you will have were taught by people of color. And so, but the industry itself doesn't necessarily look like that, right? So that's part of the reason why we're having it. So when you ask, should you or shouldn't you? Yes and no. Yes and no. I say no, you should not, because there needs to be a procedure in place. There's no procedure in place. It's consumption, much like many other things. It's like, well, if I can pay for it, then I can be able to do it. And it's not taken to a sacred reality. It's not engagement with a more sacred understanding of it. I say yes, because I understand being resonant with something, and I understand being beyond, going beyond cultural boundaries. But like, again, what I said, it's not about being nice to me. It's about the tension that you're feeling when you hear people speak about it. What is that tension that you're feeling? What is your discomfort? Because there's a part of you also that's like, you're not asking me that, you're asking yourself. Why am I doing this? What is my allure to this? Answer that question. What is your actual allure to it? Is it because it's exotic? Is it because it's other? Is it because it's because it's Black and it's cool to be Black, so I want to do Black stuff? Like, what is it? What is your relationship to it? Ask yourself that legitimately. And then the answer about your engagement comes.
Beautiful answer. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm all about the feel goods. You want to dance to hip hop, cool, but don't appropriate it appropriation to me is like the narrative is now shifted, like you started it. That's appropriation.
Yes.
Right.
And Elizabeth, you're in Austin. I'm so jealous. Go see Dada.
Yeah, feel free to hit me up. I'm a ball. I'm great to hang out with.
You are a goddess, and so grateful for you coming, willing to take the time to share your energy and your really, really important message. And I hope everyone takes it deeply to heart of go in, listen, ask questions, cellular.
Definitely. I thank you again, Heather Ash. I thank all my teachers. I thank all of my mentors. I thank the spirits. I thank the ancestors. I thank the great divine. I thank my little puppy. I thank Shaka, my husband. I thank all of my constituents and partners. I thank my friends. I thank the earth. And I know that this message is reverberating and shifting many things. And I'm grateful for what comes from that.
Yes. Yeah. Here's to real freedom and
That's right.
Inside and out.
Ashe. Thank you.
Bye, sweethearts.